Hello, what is up my friends? Welcome to another video. This is your boy Frazzy Vlog. Today I've got with me two bad boys, the Canon 7D Mark II and the Canon 7D. Today I'm going to be comparing them, going out later on in the video to have them hands-on, side by side and see how they work. First of all, the upgrades with the Canon 7D Mark II, you've got 20 megapixels 0.2 and you've got 18 in the old one. You've got a Digic 6 processor, well on this one you've got a Digic 4, so this is meant to be much faster and much more quick and responsive. Secondly, you've got a new turn dial on top of the Mark II where you can push it and turn. It's a safety feature so you don't knock it and change what mode you're in. With this one, if you knock it, you can do that. On top, not too much different. You've got a bigger screen on the Mark II, slightly bigger. And I've noticed on the Mark II you've got a little dot on the ISO button, which is quite good. So when you're shooting, you can feel the ISO button there, which is going to be the one you're probably going to use the most out of these four buttons on top. Another big improvement is the autofocus. Now the Mark II has got 64 cross-type sensors when the 7D's only got 19, so massive improvement there. In previous situations I've tried out the autofocus, it seems very good. It focuses almost instantly on different subjects. But if you have it in autofocus and not manual focus, it does tend to make a noise in the lens, a juddery sound, which we'll hear later on in this video. And we'll be comparing it to the 7D. On the back you've got various different buttons in different places, but doesn't seem too different. You've got different turn dial, and the zoom is in a different place now, menus in a different place, also quick menu buttons in a different place. The flash looks slightly different, probably made smaller to make it more strong. On the side of the 7D you've got just a flat surface, while on this one now you've got more of a grippy texture. Also on the Mark II you can fit a CF card and an SD card in the slot, so you've got two slots there. On the 7D you can only put a CF card in. So that's pretty good. When you've maxed out one of the cards, you can go on to the next card and you can choose different cards you shoot with as well. RAW and JPEG, still the same thing. Inside the cameras, it's still magnesium alloy, so the same. I think the Mark II has got a better waterproofing than this one. I think it's up there with the 1D, the flagship model by Canon. On the side of the cameras, you've got now, on the Mark II, you've got headphone jack. Yeah, that's all I can see, which is new. Actually, on the 7D, it's much easier to open the flaps, where you just put them up like that. And the Mark II is slightly different, where this one's opened like this and this one goes up like that. Actually seems easier on the old one, but who really cares. On the front of the camera, not much has changed. There's a few buttons in different places, but overall still following the same design features as the 7D, as the previous model. Turn the cameras on. So on the Mark II you've got a whole menu of autofocus. Now you have these tabs up the top there, where you can select what tab you want, either to do with the imaging, or the autofocus, or your images, or your settings and your favourites. That's the 7D, and that's the Mark II, see the tabs at the top there. So yeah, a lot more autofocus features on this. We'll try them out when we go out later on hands-on. Also the ISO, the old one was 6400 and go up to, now this one can go up to 16,000. Also that's the limit for video shooting as well. I believe you can do H1 and H2 versions where you can go up to about 51,000, which is very high on the camera. So on the Mark II I'll be shooting with a Sigma 816mm lens. Also on this one I'll put a 24mm, so they're kind of the same focal length, wide angle lenses. Also I did an unboxing video on the Canon 7D Mark II. If you haven't seen that yet, you can click the annotation here. Frames per second has changed. The old 7D had 8 frames per second, the new one has 10. We'll have a listen to that now. As I said in my unboxing video, not really much of a difference when you're saying it, but when you're shooting with it, I think it does make a difference. So we'll select drive, go into H, which stands for high, I believe. What? So this is the 7D, the old one. This is 8 frames per second. That's 8 frames per second. Switch to the Mark II, this is 10 frames per second. So yeah, you can definitely hear the difference there. A lot more quicker, a lot more faster. Also another thing, when you're in bulb mode, when you're taking long exposure, I've had this camera for a long time now, I had it about 5 years, and whenever I take a long exposure, if you take a long exposure, say 3 minutes, you've got to wait another 3 minutes until the image is processed. I've heard the Canon 7D Mark II, if you do that 3 minutes, you can take less time to process, so that's because of the Digic 6 processor. I haven't tried this out yet. I'm curious to see if that actually works. If it's a lot better processing, that'd be very good. Time-consuming stuff, which will work out well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the cameras and the overview and the physical appearance of the cameras and what the improvements are. So in the second part of this video, I want to go over the frames per second, the autofocus, and generally how fast the camera processes. So yeah, all those features I'll be testing out in a minute. So let's go outside and test these bad boys out. Hello guys, we're back at the park. It's very cloudy, but that doesn't really matter when you're doing comparison with the cameras. I've set up the camera now, G7 X Canon, with wind filter noise, so that cuts out any wind which goes into the camera. I don't know if that works, but I hope you can hear me well. Right, I've got everything in my trusty bag. So we have the Mark II with a 24mm lens on. And we have the old 70 with the 8-16 Sigma lens. I'm going to set them to automatic mode, so both on automatic mode. And we're going to walk around and see how the cameras perform. Both cameras have got CF cards in. They're both shooting on raw. As I said, I put them on automatic, so let's go see how they shoot. Shooting with the cameras now, automatic mode. So what I'm actually saying in this clip is, when you're in automatic mode on both the cameras, the flash does tend to pop up, which can be very annoying. So I found in the Mark II you can actually go into the quick menu and turn the flash off, which is very easy. But when I was on the 7D, I went into the quick menu, you can't actually find how to turn the flash off, so I just had to deal with it. Anyway, let's get on with the video. Both menu, I'm going to put them on the same settings. So 800 shutter speed, 3.5, this only goes down to 4, so I'll put this on 4.5 as well, same aperture. ISO 200. I'll take a picture of this road. The shutter just feels so much more nicer on this camera. Where you can just almost, it's so sensitive. Onto this one. It does feel a lot more clunky. This one is a lot quieter. Normally, you know, loud shutter is quite annoying when you're trying to do street photography or something like that. You know, people can hear you tell when you take a photo, so the shutter is a little bit more quieter. Right, so now I'm going to put them back into automatic. And we're going to shoot some video. So this is me looking like an idiot on the way to find a good video spot. But I just wanted to see how the cameras work side by side continuously. And I must say the Mark II performed very, very good. But the Canon 7D, the older version, was freezing up at times. But anyway, let's have a look at that video footage. So yeah, the 7D, the old version, the video function was pretty crap. So I'm going to show you that now. So now to the Mark II. 64 cross-type sensors in this camera, where the 7D's only got 19. Let's see how this does. Much better focusing on this camera. It's pretty much instant when you go into a subject. The old camera had to work out what it was doing before you can actually focus the subject. So yeah, but anyway, you can obviously, it's quite easy to tell, like 64 cross-type sensors compared to 19. This is going to be better, obviously, with the Dig-Stitch processor as well, compared to Digital 4. Right, so now onto some quick shooting. We're going to try some frames per second. So I had a good idea for the frames per second because there's no because it's a crap day, you can hear it burn. Right, so onto another voiceover. At the start of the video I said I put the wind deduction noise function on one of the cameras I'm using to film, which is the Canon G7 X. Yeah, which I've established as absolutely cool. So as there wasn't any wildlife or cars or things that move fast in this park, we decided to throw some sticks in a puddle we found. So let's see how the cameras perform. I've got the 7D. I'm going to put it on 8 frames per second. It's on manual. We get the right exposure. Now we're going to see how this does. Throw it. Tell me when. I actually got some of it in the air. Right, we've got the Mark II now. Actually, what I'm going to do is going to put the same lens onto the Mark II. So I've got an 8-16mm lens on this one now. Put it on 10 frames per second, and it's in manual. Let's go. Yeah. Okay, that's a lot more better. I've got more shots that I can use there. I'm going to try one of these fir cones. I'm going to throw it up and see if I can get it just levitating just above my hand. So I've got it on, this is the Mark II, 10 frames per second. Probably about half a second, so I should get 5 shots. 2, 3, 4. So about 4 shots there in the air. Now we're going to try with the old Canon with the fir cone. It's on high. So let's see with this one. So yeah, I only got 2 shots there compared to the 4 shots I got on the Mark II. So as I mentioned at the start of this video, I said the Mark II does make a noise when it autofocuses, a juddery sound. I don't know if it's to do with my lens, but it does it on the other one where my 24mm it does make a sound, and that's on the market today. I bought this probably about 3 years ago now. It does make a juddery sound. So I'm going to show you what that sounds like now. So I've got the camera in auto, so it's in autofocus. I'm just going to pan this tree here. Yeah, so what I'll do, I'll put that clip up so you can listen to it. So yeah, unless you're like a professional at manual focus, that can get very annoying when you haven't got music on your backing. On your clips you're going to try and put together with this camera. So you're going to have to be good at your manual focusing skills, but I think other lenses, you know, more smooth, more silky focusing lenses might be better when you're taking an autofocus. Yo guys, so I've had the 2 cameras side by side shooting with it, the Canon 7D and the Mark II. I just wanted to get a very broad comparison about the both cameras. I mean, they're about 5 years apart, you know, Digic 6 compared to Digic 4. You know, don't get me wrong, the Canon 7D does still process quite fast, but the Mark II, you know, is going to outdo it every single time. Yeah, I think the Canon 7D is more of a backup camera to have. Definitely don't use it if you're shooting video. It is almost inadequate in autofocus in there. So yeah, the Mark II performs way better in that section. But you know, do note about the autofocus when it judders and makes a sound when you're using different lenses and stuff like that. But overall, I'm generally happy with the Mark II now. Definitely shutter feels more fluid. It's a lot quieter when you're shooting as well. So yeah, just a redefined camera. I think Canon, you know, made a good decision to update it and not keep it any longer. But yeah, there might be other 70s out there. Mark III probably will be coming out soon. So yeah, I look forward to that as well. So yeah, I hope you like this video of the comparisons between 2 cameras. I just wanted to do it just to get a general feel of, you know, the 2 cameras, and if I'm going to keep my 7D or, you know, sell it or something like that. But probably for now I'll keep it as a backup camera. It's pretty good. You know, if I'm maxing out on, you know, SD cards and CF cards, I've still got a camera to use. So yeah guys, hope you liked the video. That was the comparison between the Canon 7D and the Canon 7D Mark II. Subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos. This is your boy Frazzy Vlog signing out. Subscribe, like, comment, share, and I'll see you in my next video. Boys with me, the Canon 7D and the new one, the Canon 7D Mark II. I pointed out the wrong camera.
Do it again.
Oh.